So, we're live. Excellent news. So, welcome to the Glasgow Buddhist Centre. You've joined the Glasgow Buddhist Centre YouTube channel, and my name's Jeanette, and I'm here this morning to lead one of our beginner meditation practices. So, there's a possibility this beginning part of it might be edited out later on, but we're just allowing 10 minutes for people to arrive. So you'll see the chat box at the side, on the right-hand side of the screen. Please feel free to say a little bit about where you're from, maybe your name, so that we can. It's nice to know people are there. People are there with you watching. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes for me to see once you've typed it in, for it to come up for me to see. And also it's good for me to know that we have sound, because sometimes we have technical problems. But anyway, hopefully we won't have those today. So really, really warm welcome to some of our first live streamings. It's a bit strange still doing this. I'm one of a team of people that lead beginner meditations. And normally I would be saying hello to you and greeting you at the door, and finding out if you've meditated before, if you know how to sit, and just welcoming you to the center, and maybe showing you around. So not quite the same. Oh, yes, I see somebody's arriving. So Shanti Bantra's here. Great. Sounds good. Vision's good. Thank you very much. It's always good to know I can breathe, have a sip of my tea, and just relax a little bit more now I know that there's actual sound. And Shanti Badger is one of my teammates, and he's going to be my moderator today. So really lovely to see that he's there beside me or with me. And really lovely to imagine you're watching at home as well, from wherever you are. So as I say, please say hello in the chat box, say who you are, where you're from, and lovely that you're here with us today. So normally we would be doing the meditations in the Glasgow Buddhist Centre. So we're on Sauchiehall Street, just opposite the dental hospital. But due to the social distancing and the situation that we find ourselves in at the moment, so we're not able to do that. So this is what we're doing. We want to teach meditation to people that have not done meditation before, but do it in a way that we can feel as though we're doing it in a community way. So this is why the chat box is a really helpful thing, just to allow us to kind of bring ourselves in, to say, oh, I'm here with you. And I'm already sort of seeing in the last couple of weeks some starting to be some familiar names. So lovely. So I'm just going to take another sip of my tea. So we are going to be learning to meditate. As I said, I'm one of a group of four people that are teaching meditation. Somebody will be here every Tuesday and Thursday at 12:30 to lead you through one of two Buddhist meditations. So I'm sitting here on the floor. I've not moved yet back into my meditation posture. I guess maybe some of the things you could grab is just things to make yourselves comfortable. So whatever you have to sit on, you might want to just lie down on the floor or lie down on the couch, or you might have a seat, I don't know, a computer chair or couch that you're going to use to sit on, or you might be planning to use, cushions or a meditation bench. A couple of things that might be good to have around: a cushion to pad out the back. That's really helpful. And also maybe just something like a scarf, that if you want somewhere to put your hands, that can be useful. So just wrapping around so you can tuck your hands into as well. Okay, so I see we've got another name in the chat box. Pasadeni's joined us. So a couple of my teammates already. Looks good, sounds good. Good to know. Got my cup of tea today. Poseidon is checking in from the south side of Glasgow. Yeah. So I'm in. Not quite in Glasgow area. I'm a little bit further along from Glasgow. I'm sort of heading into North Lanarkshire, but the Glasgow Buddhist Centre is just keeping an eye on the time. Then the Glasgow Buddhist Centre is my centre. That's where I go to, and that's my. So I'm here imagining you till we start at 12:30. Although not quite alone, I've got the Buddha here with me, sitting in his full lotus position. He's got his hands in a teaching mudra today. So you see pictures of statues of Buddhas with all different kinds of gestures. Mudras, these are called. So he's in his teaching mudra today. So he's one of my favourite ones at home, just because he's made of wood. So I really enjoy him. And I've got candle lit as well. You don't need to have a statue of the Buddha or anything particular to meditate with, but sometimes it's nice just to have a bit of a focal point. When I started meditating, which is quite a long time ago now, I first started to go to the Buddhist Centre around about 2003, and I just had a laminated picture of a lotus flower, and I would sit and light a candle in front of that just for a little while to give me a bit of a focal point, a place that I wanted to sit down and be at. Okay, so the Buddha practiced his teachings, became a realized being through meditation more than 2,500 years ago, and we're still here practicing his the meditations and the teachings that he gave us, and I guess we're still doing that because they work. Don't take my word for that. Just try them out yourselves and see how they are. Okay. So, so we've got a bit of a mix of people that might be watching live, and also people might be watching at home, home later on. So you might be watching at home live, but also people might be watching it later on. And with the first ones, we found that we sort of had a smaller group of people watching live, and then lots of people were watching it later on as well. So I see we have Francis joining me as well. Well, Francis, good to see you. And we'll get going in a few minutes. So, let's say, just make yourself comfortable with whatever you have to sit on, a couch, chair, or lying down. Whatever's comfortable for you. If you're just joining us, please don't be shy. Please feel free to put your name in the chat box and tell us where you're from. Just around about 12:30, so I think we'll probably kick off quite soon. I've got my coffee and lots of talking makes my mouth dry. Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to move back slightly, maybe, because the time is almost around about 12:30. So maybe I'll get going and just say a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. Yeah. So I reckon the time is around about 12:30. So I will get going. And for anybody that's only just joined us, my name's Jeanette. So a warm welcome. You've joined the Glasgow Buddhist Centre YouTube channel, and this is the live stream for beginner meditation. So a small group of us, 4 of us, will be here live every Tuesday and Thursday around about 12:30, and we'll be introducing 2 classic Buddhist meditation practices. So we're going to be leading the mindfulness of breathing practice, which we're going to be doing today. And on a Thursday, we'll be leading the Metta Bhavana, which is also known as a loving kindness practice, on a Thursday. So both of those are really calming practices. They help the body and the mind to settle down a bit. I guess I could say a little about both of them. So the metta practice is a little bit about training to bring kindly awareness to, I suppose, the relationships in our lives, different kind of relationships in our lives. And it's also a training on becoming kinder, happier, and a bit more connected. And today's mindfulness practice trains us to place our attention more fully on what is happening in our experience. And we're using the breath in order to do that today. So the mindfulness of breath. And if we keep practicing these two practices kind of over days and weeks, the two meditation practices can transform us. What we find is a very gentle, gradual transformation takes place. And again, don't take my word for that. Try it out, and over time, I promise you will see changes happening. So I guess you'll be joining us. I guess you're joining us or watching later on today for your own reasons. I guess some of the reasons that I had when I started to practice meditation was I was experiencing lots of negative thinking in my life. I was feeling a bit stressed, a bit fed up of how I was, and I didn't even probably even kind of not even feeling like myself. So that's the reason that I came along, and these two practices began to change that. Over time, I began to be a bit more open, a bit more relaxed, and I began to be able to think just a little bit more clearly. And as time went on, I found it began to also benefit my relationships, a bit calmer, a bit less reactive. And so that's why I practice meditation. And that's why I continue to practice meditation. There's something quite emotional in saying continue to practice meditation. Because I see change in myself, how I am with other people, and I love seeing that effect. And like any practice, whether it's music or sport or meditation, we need to keep practicing really to allow whatever it is to reach its full potential. So that's why I practice meditation and what I'm going to carry on doing. So what are we going to do in the hour together? So what's coming up next? I'm going to talk a little bit about posture. And then I'm going to lead us in a short body awareness. So that'll be around about 5 minutes, and that'll allow us to just settle and arrive in our bodies. It'll allow me to settle and arrive in my body as well, because I'm still getting a little bit nervous about doing these live streams. And then, so after the body awareness, then I will say a little bit more about the actual practice we're going to do today. So the mindfulness of breathing practice. And I'll introduce us briefly to the 4 stages. There's 4 stages in that. And then I'll lead us fully, through that practice. So don't worry if you're a complete beginner. I'll talk you through the whole thing. It'll be around about 20 minutes-ish. And you can experience how that all feels, what you notice, and try it out for yourself. And that should leave us a good 10 minutes after that for us to fully utilize the chat box and allow us to sort of be together, come together, and just explore how it felt for all of us in that. So that you can pop your feedback in, what you noticed, or any questions that you might have about either this particular practice or meditation generally. And then before I finish, I'll maybe just say a little bit more about the Glasgow Buddhist Centre, sort of the culture that we're trying to bring there in supporting people to build up practices of meditation, and how you can really start to use that community as a strength in your practice as you're setting up your meditation. Okay, so I think I'll Take the last one too. And as I'm going to be talking to you next about posture, I'll just move into a bit more of a sort of a meditation posture. Help me to get in the zone. So I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to be too wordy about talking about the posture, and because otherwise I might rattle on a bit too long. And what I will say is that if you want a little bit more detail, there's more information on the Glasgow Buddhist Centre website, and there's also going to be a bit more information on our YouTube channel as well. We've just been recently getting together a 30-minute video on getting the best out of all the different ways you could move into a posture for meditation. So a more detailed explanation of how to be sitting on a floor, on the cushion, on a stool or a bench, on a chair, and also how to get the best out of lying down as well. So do check those out later on in the week if you want to find a bit more about posture. If you've not, sat for meditation before, or if you're feeling that it was, a bit more uncomfortable than you anticipated, how to get the most of that. Okay. So what am I going to say? So it's about finding really a posture that's comfortable for you, so that you can be relaxed, comfortable, but also alert for the duration of the meditation. So the next session after this, we're just going to do a short 5 minutes practice, but later on we will sit for 20 minutes. So it's good to be as comfortable as you can. Now I know we're all sitting at home, so you'll have whatever you have at home. If I was at the Buddhist Centre, I could, give you full rein and let you try out all the cushions, chairs and stools and things that we have and show you all those. But you'll have what you have at home. So you might be sitting on a computer chair, couch. You might decide to lie on the floor, or you might be sitting on a cushion. So it's about finding the right posture for you, the one that's comfortable for your body. We're not all as flexible as this. I'm not as flexible as this. So I find it impossible to get into the full lotus position. But Prasadani will show you how to do it on the 30-minute video if you watch it later on. Okay, so what I also need to say is there shouldn't be any pain. It's not an endurance. Meditation isn't an endurance sport. So we want to listen to the body. And remember, our two practices that we're going to do are about awareness and about kindness. And so it's good to bring that kind of attitude into the finding of our posture and being kind and aware of this lovely body that we've been given. Okay. If you need to lie down, please do lie down. At any point during the meditation later on, the 20-minute meditation, if you feel as though you're wrestling about a bit and want to move, feel free to lie down and change about as well. People with back pain might find it easy to lie down. But if we're sitting, we're going to aim for an upright spine, upright but also relaxed, so nothing too forced. We don't want to impose a particular sort of stance on the body. One of the traditional ways of just being a bit more upright is to imagine a golden thread coming from the top of our head, just being pulled ever so gently. It just helps us to have an idea of an upright spine. If you're going to be sitting, you're going to have 3 points of contact. Lying down, possibly more points of contact, but sitting, you'll have 3 points of contact. So if you're sitting on the floor or a cushion, you're going to have your bum and your knees on the floor. And if you're in a chair, you've got your bum and your 2 feet on the floor as well. You might want something, if you've got a warm, comfortable carpet or a rug, you might be fine. But if you've got a hard floor, you might want something to be underneath you. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I've got a rug that I've got folded up today. And rugs can also be really handy, that if you are sitting like me on my knees, and it's the first time you've done that, you might find a bit of a stretch underneath the front of the ankle. So you can roll up the back of your blanket and just allow a ledge for your feet to flop over. Or you could roll up a towel and just pop that underneath as well. Okay. So some other things, as I mentioned earlier, cushion can be quite good to have on behind you if you're using a chair, just to support the back. Um, if you're sitting on the floor, or if you're sitting on, so if you're sitting on the floor, I'm sitting astride my cushions. Difficult for me to show you, but I'm sitting astride cushions. And you can also use a bench. This is an example. This is my very first bench. You need a bit of padding if it's a wooden bench. That's a one-legged one. I've got an example of a kind of a two-legged one as well. Lots of different opportunities. Shoulders. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Height. If you're sitting, height is important. So finding the right cushions, right height of cushions, or the right height of bench. If you're sitting too high, you'll find your back overarches, and that's a bit uncomfortable. And if you're sitting too low, your body's compensating by slumping and pulling yourself forward. So your shoulders get a bit uncomfortable and your head gets a bit heavy. So the height's pretty important. So listen to your body, listen to how comfortable it or uncomfortable it is, and make some adjustments and mess about till you find something comfortable. We need something to do with our hands. Shoulders, we want them to be rolled back and just allowing the shoulder blades to relax down the spine. And something to do with our hands. If you're on a chair, if you're sitting on a chair, sometimes a cushion just to rest your hands on is pretty good. If you're sitting on a stool or something like that, one thing you could do is wrap a scarf around you, and you can just put your hands in like that. Or my personal favourite is, I'm going to fight with the plant behind me, sorry, is just to wrap a blanket round. And that's got the added advantage of a bit of warmth for the legs. If you fold the top of a nice thick blanket down, you feel sort of comfortable and secure, and you can either just rest your hands on a little ledge here, or you can tuck them in, whichever suits you better. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is lead us in a little 5-minute body awareness practice. So just find your posture, find a place that's comfortable for you. Sit wherever is comfortable for you. Lie down, whatever it is. I'm going to use a singing bowl to mark the start and ends of meditations. I'll just show you what that sounds like. I'll try and do it not too noisily so it jars you, but even so, just notice how you respond when you hear that at the end or the stages. Okay. So we're going to start a 5-minute relaxation just now. Okay. So just finding your points of contact, first of all, with the ground, however you are, however you're sitting. And perhaps closing your eye. I'll keep mine slightly open just to keep an eye on time. And close our eyes and find where our body is contacting the earth. So starting with our feet, first of all. Just bringing our attention to the feet. Just noticing whatever it is we notice. What senses are telling us about our feet. You might be noticing pressure on the floor, on the soles or the tops of our feet. You might be noticing temperature, noticing texture, carpet, socks, whatever it is that has contact with the feet. And just noticing where those 2 feet are in space. Perhaps one is a little further forward than the other. Just moving up the body, taking our awareness up the body, just noticing what we notice, inviting the body to relax as we go. So taking our attention to the ankle, to the calf, to the knees, to the big muscles at the top, the big thigh muscles. And sometimes if we've done a lot of walking, we might be noticing aches in knees or leg muscles. And just noticing whatever is there, not trying to change anything in any way. It's just acknowledging the work that those muscles do. And then noticing the other point of contact, our seat, whether on a cushion or chair or lying on the floor. And just allowing whatever it is that our seat is resting on to take our full weight. Just giving our body the full permission to just let go and relax. Let go whatever can be let go from those muscles. Let go into our feet, to the ground, into the air. We can use our imaginations to imagine the earth beneath us, giving us that support. And just letting go into that. Bring your attention to the back waist, allowing the back waist to just soften gently, relax down. The spine rising out of that pelvic bowl. And following the spine upwards, upright and relaxed, to the shoulders. And just allowing the shoulders, maybe just lifting and allowing them to roll back. Letting the shoulder blades slide a little bit further if they can. Just gently allowing that to happen in support of the spine. And just noticing whatever might be there in the shoulders. Again, a place where we can carry a lot of tension. Shoulders, the neck area. And just inviting anything that can soften to soften. Perhaps awareness of the hands, temperature of the hands, whatever's touching the hands, sensation perhaps of clothing, cushion, blanket. It's whatever we're noticing about the hands. energy sometimes, and movement. And then bringing our attention up the body, the neck, the head resting gently on the neck. Attention to the face, the eyes, allowing the eyes, the muscles around the eyes to soften. Just bringing that idea there, the eyes soften, the mouth soften, the jaw relax, perhaps adding a little smile gently if it comes. Just allowing ourselves to notice that we're taking a breath in and a breath out, that we're in a body that's breathing. Allowing the lower part of our body just to relax down like a big giant sack of sand, allowing itself to settle, allowing our bodies to settle, allowing our minds to settle, allowing our senses and sensations of the body to settle, arriving here. And in a moment, I'm going to ring a bell, and we'll bring just this little short practice to an end. Just noticing perhaps how we respond to that too. So if that's your first meditation, well done. Very short practice. Just after each practice, whether it's 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or 20 minutes, just always be aware of just gentle transitions. So gently opening the eyes in your own time, maybe a little stretch, and just relaxing out of the posture as well. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is the mindfulness of breathing practice itself. And I want to just first of all say a little bit to introduce the practice. So mindfulness, right? What can we say about mindfulness? And it's probably a very well-known word, really. So what do I mean by that? So I guess fully attending whatever is happening at any one point in time is what I would describe mindfulness as being. And also, what I'd love us to encourage in ourselves is to think of it as a non-judgmental moment by moment awareness, a practice of non-judgmental moment by moment awareness. So in this case, we're going to be using the breath to place our awareness on. So we're going to notice what is happening with our breath and see if we can be present to that, fully present to that, if we can notice. And then we can observe what our reactions are, what our responses are, kind of a bit like noticing what we're enjoying or not enjoying about our experience of the breath. And I suppose mindfulness or attending to things in our daily lives is probably the most apparent when I think about it when I'm talking to other people. So, and I think it's a shared experience. I think we can all understand how it feels like when we're talking with somebody who's not giving us their full attention. They've got their mind completely on something else. They're not giving us our full attention. They're quite distracted. So that experience for me is often quite frustrating. It feels like that person doesn't care about me. And yet I know that I also, do that myself as well. Like it's a human thing. It's something we all share. It's in us all. It happens a lot. We very rarely manage to give our complete full attention to the thing that's in front of us. We've got so much on in life. Also, this opposite could be said sometimes, especially in lockdown just now. Maybe we don't have as much on, and we've just got, we sort of our attention isn't as alive as we'd like it to be. But quite often we're very sidetracked. Mobile phones is a really good example of that, and I can get hooked into that as well. Boop, there it goes again, and I want to check what's going on. So we can lose sight of what's important to us, what's in front of us at any one point in time. And often when we're, being with other people, that shows up really quickly. And sometimes I can realize, like, sometimes after the event, that I wasn't really fully present there. And I realized that I've not been fully present to some of the things and some of the people that are really most precious to me. The mindfulness of breathing practice can really help us to bring the threads of our attention together, sort of strengthen our ability to pay attention to the people and the things that really matter to us. We can't make our minds do this. We can't kind of force our minds to do it. We can try, but what we find is our mind resists, and it can't stay very long on us forcing it to do the same thing. So the mind, and I was taught this many years ago, and I use the same phrase, it's a bit like a puppy. So you need to train it to come and sit and be really kind, really gentle, sit in a soft voice, to keep training the puppy to come back and sit, training the puppy to come back and sit. So when we're learning to do these meditations, we're using kindness to strengthen the mind's ability to stay on what our subject is from moment to moment. So the mindfulness of breathing is a really simple practice. So we give continuous attention to the touch sensation of the breath as it comes in and comes out of the body. So each time the attention strays, and I promise you it will, then we gently and firmly keep returning to the breath sensation. No need to worry about too much about, like, oh, how did I get on to thinking about that? Just come back to what we're doing. Just come back to that sensation of the breath. And if you find yourself getting frustrated, just notice that as well. Try not to beat yourself up about being distracted in your meditation. The minute you notice that you're distracted, then that's you back in your meditation. So just coming back to the breath and bringing our attention back again. So there are four parts to the practice. So the first stage, what we do is we place our attention on the out breath. And what we do in the first couple of stages is we can use a count to help us to do that, especially when we're just beginning. So we can breathe in and breathe out. So after the end of the out breath, we place a count of 1. So breathe in, breathe out, and just gently to ourselves, we say 1. And breathe out, 2. Breathe in, breathe out, 3. And so on until we get to 10. And then we just start the practice again from 1 again. So we keep doing that for around about 5 minutes. So then I'll ring a bell and we can change the attention just ever so slightly, and we mark the beginning. We sort of anticipate the in-breath. So we breathe out, and just before the in-breath, we place a count of 1 and breathe in. Breathe out. Just before the in-breath, we place a count of 2 and breathe in, and so on until 10. Then in stage 3, we drop the counting and we just watch the natural flow of the breath. And I'll talk. Don't worry, I'll talk us through all of this as well. And then in stage 4, we place our attention just on one particular place where we find the sensation of the breath coming in and out of the body. Generally, this is around about the nostril or the mouth, or the roof of the mouth. Okay. So I'm gonna lead us through the practice now. And so what I want us to do is just get back into our postures, and I'll lead us through the meditation. Again, just bringing our attention to the body first of all, closing our eyes, perhaps bringing your attention to the points of contact, so the feet on the floor, our seats on the floor, having a sense of the body, and again that settling feeling, imagining the lower part of the body settling, big, like a big sack of sand, spine rising upwards out of the pelvic bowl. Tension on the face, softening of the eyes, softening of the mouth and jaw, and then bringing our attention to the body breathing. And just noticing that we are present here in a live body. You don't have to do anything. The body breathing itself. And in the first stage of our practice, we're just going to bring our attention to the out breath. We breathe in, breathe out, and we place a count of 1. Breathe in, breathe out, and count of 2. Just allow just a little pause for you to start that process. Keep counting till we get to 10, and then start again. And if the mind wanders, you find yourself other thoughts coming up, not judging that in any way, not a little bit annoyed. Just treating your mind gently like a puppy, encouraging the attention to come back to the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, counting. Each breath out is a practice in itself, trying to give our full attention to the whole length of that out breath. Just experience how that out breath is, and then placing the count. Just allowing each out breath to travel as far as it wants to travel, trying to do anything special, just allowing the breath to move out and place the allowing ourselves to relax out with that out breath, travel with it. Out breath, just allowing ourselves just to relax a little bit more, inviting that. Breathe in, breathe out, placing the count. And just noticing our response to the change. So in the second part of the practice, we invite the mind's attention to move to the in-breath. So we breathe out and just anticipating the in-breath, we place the count there. So breathing out, placing the count, and then breathing in. Breathe in, breathe out, the count just before we breathe in. So breathing out, allowing the space, place the count, and breathe in. And we start to notice that there is a little space at each end of the breath. So we're using that space to rest, but place the count. So the in-breath, we're placing our attention on the in-breath. And sometimes we can notice with the in-breath that it sharpens our attention. Feeding ourselves. As air turns to breath. And if thoughts come up, if we get distracted and stray, just coming back kindly to our attention on the breath. So finding the in-breath, breathe out, placing a count again, anticipating the next in-breath. Just watching the body's natural rhythm. And then we move to the third stage in the practice. And at this stage, we stop the counting. And we just allow our attention to stay on the natural flow of the cycle of breath. So we're observing the breath out, the space before the in-breath, and then the space before the breath out. Just allowing ourselves to experience that full cycle of breathing in, breathing out, and the little resting spaces either end. Just allowing ourselves to observe however that feels. It's noticing the relaxing effect of the out breath, the enlivening of the in breath. We start to notice some of the different qualities of the breath here as well. This is what happens to come to our attention. A long breath, short breath, the in breath and the out breath might be different in their length. It might feel smooth and relaxed, it's tight, a bit jaggy. I'm not judging any of that or trying not to judge any of that. Just noticing however our breath is, whatever is our experience in our body, accepting our experience as it is. If our attention has wandered, just coming back to our experience of that whole breath cycle in and out. Our breath is with us, there for us to experience at any point in time. Whether we're sitting down, lying down, walking around, we can just bring our attention to that cycle of our breath. In breath, the out breath. Just noticing what our experience is. Then we move to the fourth stage. And we bring our attention just somewhere where we find our experience of the breath coming into the body. Where our first experience of that is the body breathing, the breath entering the body and leaving the body. So usually that is the nostril. Quite often it's the nostril. But for you it might be the lips, as the air passes the lips, or you might feel it further back in the sensations in the roof of the mouth or the back of the throat. So we're just observing that one aspect of the natural flow of the breath coming in and out, our sensations of that felt experience of the air turning to breath as it comes in, and breath leading us to return to the air. It's noticing that the air is a little cooler and a little thinner as it enters, and perhaps a little warmer and thicker with moisture as it leaves. For different people and different sensitivities. Or if we're not noticing too much, please don't worry about that. you get frustrated at all that you can't find the sensation, the more subtle sensations, and just watching whatever part you experience the breath more clearly. Sometimes the belly, gentle movement in the belly. But just choosing one place to bring the focus of our attention. And I'm going to be quiet just for a minute or two to allow you to experience that. The mind has wandered again, not judging that, just knowing that even in an experienced meditator this happens, and bringing the mind back, bringing our attention back to that one part of our body that we want to notice the breath. So that's the nostril, the lips, the back of the throat. Just noticing our experience, that sense experience of the movement of breath in our body. And then just as we start to bring the practice to a close, just letting go of any effort that we might be making, giving yourself permission to stop making any effort whatsoever. And in a moment, I'm going to ring the bell. And we'll just bring our practice to a close. So remember, please, in all meditations, just to make those transitions softly, gently. Again, kindly attention to coming out of the meditation as well. And no need to make any kind of sudden movements, just gently opening the eyes, becoming aware of the sensations around us. Light, and just moving gently. I'm probably saying that just for me as much as for you, because I've been sitting on my knees a long time too. So just easing the body out gently, giving your knees a rub or any parts that might be aching. So we've got about 10 minutes, possibly just a little bit less, for any questions or any feedback that you might have about your experience of the meditation. So please do pop that in the chat box. Use the chat box to just, allow us to come together after our meditation, to join in. If you didn't have chance to pop your names into the session in the chat box to say where you were from at the start, please feel free to do that now as well. So I'm just going to move forward so I can actually read the chat box. There's a team of 4 of us, so I'll answer any questions that we can do. Okay, so I can see that some messages coming up. Thank you very much, Prasadani, for saying thank you. It's always nice to be appreciated. Prasadani is saying that she found her mind was quite still, so that's good to know. So some positive effect feeling by the meditation there. She says she was also a bit distracted by planning and thoughts of sending emails. So, and that happens. That happens. We get distracted, and our thoughts go elsewhere. And it sounds as though your mind was still enough to allow you to come back to the meditation, back to the experience of your breath. And hopefully you didn't judge yourself, Prasadini, for being distracted, because that's such a common thing. In my experience, I remember judging myself terribly. Like, I thought I wasn't being able to meditate properly because thoughts were coming up. The thoughts about coming up into what was coming up in the day. Some people think about what's just happened, and some people end up, the thoughts are about what's coming up in the day. So the thoughts coming up is absolutely normal. The meditation isn't going to stop our thoughts from popping up. What the meditation is doing is allowing us to bring our attention to what we're asking it to place its attention on, which is the breath. Okay. Francis is saying that that was good, although she got sleepy in the last two stages. So sleepy's okay too. Maybe your body was needing a little bit of extra rest, Francis, and that's good. It's good that you noticed that your body was feeling sleepy. Sounds as though you were kind of getting in a nice relaxed place. So in its way, that's good. Some of the things we can do to try and brighten that is to maybe bring our attention to the in-breath. The in-breath can help us to just be a little bit more alert. And also sometimes if we bring our attention to the upper part of the body, that can help to enliven it and feel kind of a bit more awake and alert, if you're feeling that that's what you want to do. And but maybe there was some enjoyment in feeling relaxed and sleepy too. Pardon me saying thank you too. Yeah. So yeah, whatever, just yeah, that's a good tip as well. Shanti Vajra's writing to Francis that he opens his eyes often if he finds he's fallen asleep. So that's also a good top tip. So yeah, just taking your attention, opening your eyes, taking your attention to what's in the room, perhaps taking attention to sound or something else, and then coming back into the body, just brightening, enlivening the experience. Mm-hmm. Good to see. So Francis is going to try some of those as well. So I think we had about a dozen people watching us live today. Not sure if everybody's popped their name in the chat box. Maybe some people are a little bit more shy. So, but I hope the people that are watching find the session helpful. Please, don't be shy and feel free to say hello if you want to do, and how you found the meditation, or any questions that you might have from week to week. If you keep joining us, you might feel a bit braver or a bit less shy next week. So one of the things that I found when I was learning to meditate is that feeling as though I was doing something with other people was probably one of the strongest things that kept me going. I could say the same about other things, like I know we can't go to the gym or go running so much with other people at the moment, but there's something about the support of other people, wherever we learn, especially if it's learning a new skill, that can help us to keep on the right track. And sometimes we don't know what support we need. We don't know what help we need until we start to describe our experience and say what's going on for us. And that helps us to ask questions as well. So I guess not any other questions, so that's okay. And maybe I'll just say a little bit more about the Glasgow Buddhist Centre. So yeah, maybe a little bit more about our culture. note here just to remind me what a neighbour was going to say. Yeah, so I guess it's kind of a different culture to a lot of what we expect in normal work and workplaces or out and about. So the type of culture we're trying to create at the Glasgow Buddhist Centre is a culture of generosity, I guess, supporting each other and doing that in a generous way, kind of giving with a, I call it with a bright heart. The culture of generosity. We call it dana, is the practice of giving in a generous way with a bright heart. And a lot of the teaching teams, almost all the teaching teams, give their time freely. So, I'm glad that people are able to join in these meditations. They're free, and you can join in the meditations as many times as you want to. You can watch these meditations as many times as you want to at home. But sometimes it's nice to, as well as kind of, joining in the chat and saying who you are, sometimes it can be nice to be kind of involved and invested in different ways as well. So one of the ways you can sort of, at the moment, because we're not at the centre, one of the ways that you can help support us if you want to, if you're able to join in that kind of culture of giving with a bright heart, is to help support us by donating. And I see Shanti Badra's put up the web center link, the website link. So if you do feel that you're able to do that, you can just click on that link and it takes you to the website. Thank you very much for anybody that's with us this morning that is already giving. That's so appreciated. Especially regular donations can help us to really plan to help us to plan going forward what we can offer to people. But whatever you can contribute at any time is really really appreciated. And I say that when you can, because I appreciate that everybody's circumstances are different and change from time to time. So if you can't contribute, please stick with your meditation practice. Keep logging on to this as well. The website is there for you to explore, whatever we've got going on. There are other things that maybe you can join in that the website will tell you about. And explore the YouTube channel as well. As I say, we'll be putting more and more information there that will help you to support your practices. We just somebody talking about some top tips on doing that. So we'll be here on Thursday again. Shanti Badra will be here on Thursday this week at 12:30 and leading us through the Metta Bhavana kindness practice. And you can watch these the recordings again and practice at home if you like. And also you'll find on the channel, once you get a little bit more experience and you don't need so much chat, there's one that's also I'm just reading a wee note from Prasad, level 1 Buddhism class starting in July as well. So check it out on the website for more information. So that's great to know. Good reminder. Thanks, Prasadani. So we're almost at 1:30. So I'll finish soon. Maybe read a couple of words of a poem actually, just to finish us off. Please remember to have a gentle transition. We've just finished a nice meditation. So good to be gentle with yourselves just for the next few while. Not necessarily planning on going out for a run. Just gentle and soak up the benefits of this time we've spent together. So lovely to have been with you. So I'm gonna just read a little bit of a poem that I found only last night actually. This is my new favourite poet author of mine. His name is John O'Donoghue. Other poets are available, obviously. So this is in praise of air. I'll not read all of it. Let us bless the air, benefactor of breath, keeper of the fragile bridge we breathe across. Air, source of the breath that enables flowers to flourish and calls the dark-rooted trees to ascend into blossom. Air, perfect emptiness, mind of birds, to map with vanishings womb of forms that shape embraces to hold animal presence. Air makes the distance kind, opens the pathways for the eye to reach the affections of things, yet never lets its invisible geography come anywhere near thought or the void edges of the eye. Let us bless the invigoration of clean, fresh air. And leave it there. So, thanks for your company today, all of you. Lovely to spend a bit of time with you, and keep practicing and enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy as much of your day as you possibly can. See you soon.